Hello friends, today we will study about Sri Lanka Economic Crisis. Uh, at present time we have seen at in Sri Lanka what happened that people were strongly opposed their government. What was the issue? Issue was the crisis of food, crisis of fuel, crisis of power supply, and many other problems were there with the people of Sri Lanka country. What happened there? There is economic instability in the Sri Lanka. Due to economic stability and wrong policies of their government, the economy fell down. And because they were importing food and edible oil and fuel, these things they were importing from other countries. When they have shortage of foreign exchange reserve, when they have shortage of foreign exchange reserve, how they will purchase those items which they were imported from other countries? This was the issue. So in that way, people faced those problems, shortage and prices of food, fuel, power supply, and other things. Now, here we will study about the crisis issues. Why economic crisis raised in Sri Lanka? Why it is raised? It is a very small country. It can build their economy at what level they needed. They can build because at small country it is easy to manage the things because small population is also there, but still Sri Lanka faced a very dangerous point of an economy. Let me tell you what are the things were going on in Sri Lanka and what are the issues and how it can be removed, and also we will study about political failure and policies of government. First of all, see what are the problems faced by Sri Lanka. Look at this. Sri Lanka economy problems. Sovereign debt. They were facing problem of sovereign debt. Sovereign debt means they have a lot of loans from International Monetary Fund, from China, India, Japan, and majorly some of the banks, Asian Development Bank also. So these are called sovereign bank, the loans which were taken by Sri Lanka from other countries and financial institutions. Second one, shortage of fuel, food, and edible oil. I have already told you about these things. Shortage, they were faced by the people, and people became angry. They started to oppose their government. Second thing, at what stages, at what stands, what are the pillars of Sri Lankan economy? What are the pillars? How Sri Lanka were doing business with other countries and what are the products that they were exporting to others, how they were earning. Let us see. Product which they export to other country: tea, rubber, cloth, spices, gems, fish, and some of the coconut products also they were exporting to other countries. Other countries, who are those countries? United States, United Kingdom, India, Germany, Belgium, Italy, and some of the other countries. Okay, so these are the countries to whom they were exporting their products, and these are the products which product they export and they earn from these products. Okay, now second thing, there is also one thing that is not written here: tourism. Tourism is also the main base economy of Sri Lanka. Okay, because they have a lot of tourism industry, a big tourism industry Sri Lanka have. So it is also a big economy part of Sri Lanka. Now, here we have seen that Sri Lanka is exporting goods. Sri Lanka is selling goods to other countries. Then why? The question is why Sri Lanka automatically uh, become poorer and poorer economy day by day. Why? What was the reason? They were exporting to other countries, they were earning, then also economy became weak. See, look, in past when we can go, we can see that 26 years of civil war was ended at the year of 2009 in Sri Lanka. 26 years of civil war. Okay. At that time, when President Mahindra Rajapakse became in existence, he thought what to do now. Because in 2008, globally, economy was down. Globally, inflation was down at that time, 2008. Okay. So it was a global crisis of economy. Year was 2008. And in 2009, 26 years of civil war became in Sri Lanka. Now, Mahindra Rajapakse thought that we do not have sufficient amount of money to stand our economic infrastructure. So let us take some kind of loan with other. So first loan which was taken at that time, that was a big loan taken from International Monetary Fund. $2.6 billion taken from International Monetary Fund. Here written is there. In 2009, IMF taken $2.6 billion loan from International Monetary Fund. It was taken by Mahindra Rajapakse, president for Sri Lanka. Right? From here, the journey starts of sovereign debt. Okay, here they have started taking big loans. Now what's happening? They have taken some other loans from China Bank, from India also, from Japan also, and from Asian development banks also. But what happened? It was taken to stand their infrastructure of economy. Okay, they also thought that they will do some other business from tourism and exporting of goods, right? What happened at that time, that slowly it was the main issue of political failure. Also political policies were became failure at that time, because people were two parties were facing same issues to become president. So this happened at every country, but here what happened, that government done false promises from people. What happened? They reduced taxes, too much reduced their taxes. Okay, so when they reduced taxes for what? To become a success in politics, to get a chair of president. Okay, so for this, what happened? They reduced tax, and what happened when they reduced tax? Government faced shortage of money for budget, shortage of money, dollars for budget. Okay, when there is no amount of dollars of money to run economy, they thought what to do now. They started taking more loans from other country, more and more loans from other country, and again they gone to the IMF, International Monetary Fund. They told IMF that we need some more loans, we require some more loans. What happened at that time? There were some kind of promises that IMF needed from Sri Lanka. Okay, so there were promises which IMF needed from Sri Lanka at that time. Sri Lanka done those promises, and due to that, what happened? Sri Lanka slowly taken a lot of loans from banks and other countries. Sovereign debt load was become very high, and automatically their foreign exchange reserve became zero, and they are unable to purchase food grains, fuels, power, and other edible oils and other things from other countries for their own people. For their own countries' people, they are unable to purchase important foods to eat, fuel, and edible oil. Now, what is this? This is a failure of government policies. Failure of government policies. They just, their economy just collapsed. A lot of sovereign bond pressure was there. Government was unable to do anything because they reduced taxes. Now, at this situation, government taken a very wrong decision at this time also. Gotabaya Rajapakse, president who fed up from Sri Lanka, he, what did he done? He has taken the decision to become biofertilizer. He he says to the people, farmers, and announces that Sri Lanka will not use chemical fertilizer. They will use only biofertilizer, 100% biofertilizer. Now, what did impact? You told that you required to use only biofertilizer. It is not. It is not in the welfare of people. They were already faced many kind of problems by these type kind of government policies, and this policy totally collapsed government. Later they have taken their decision back, but totally, because farmers were just became in the ground. They were just opposing, people were opposing that how it is possible that in one night you have taken the decision of 0% chemical fertilizer and we will use only biofertilizers. It is not possible. It is not possible. Partly it can be possible, 20%, 80%, 30%, 70%, but 0% is not possible. So they again came into oppose because their production, like they were exporting tea, clothes, spices, rubber. So these kind of products they were producing. If they will not have chemical fertilizers, they will use only biofertilizer. Their productivity will become less at initial time. How they will survive? So that was a problem. So at this time, people came into grounds, they oppose us, and they just came into Colombo and captured President House, burned them. So this was the capturing of people, and Mr. Gotabaya Rajapakse, former president of Sri Lanka, ran away from Sri Lanka on date of 13th July 2022. So this was the all factor. Now we have taken about the problems of Sri Lanka, taken about what are the things that Sri Lanka were exporting. Okay, now we are also talking about some of the factors that, look at this. Due to increase in government expenditure in year 2020-21, fiscal deficit raised by 10%. Government expenditures was also raised at that time. They have not reduced them. Okay. And after COVID-19, when COVID-19 came into existence, tourism industry were collapsed, and Sri Lanka's the main economy pillar of tourism were collapsed. So it was also a very adverse situation, because that was also a loss which was faced by Sri Lanka. So that was also. So in 2020, what happened? Government expenditure were raised. Okay, fiscal deficit raised by 10%, and debit and debt to GDP ratio in the year 2019, it was raised at the rate of 94% and became 119% in the year 2021. Okay, so this is the factor which we are talking about in our lectures. Now here, what are the things that now Sri Lanka want to do to improve their conditions? What are the, because the main problem of Sri Lanka is sovereign debt, the loans that they have taken from other countries. What will they do? China is a country who has taken advantage of this situation. They have not given any kind of discount, any kind of relief to Sri Lanka, while India has given help $3.8 billion to Sri Lanka, like currency sweep, and in the form of food, in the form of other things like fuel, electricity supply, and other things. So India gave a 3.8 million total help to Sri Lanka at this situation, because India also like to stand Sri Lanka, because uh, China were taking advantage of this, and actually China is making their some kind of base, military base in Sri Lanka. So they were also making pressure by this thing. So Quad countries was also providing some kind of help to, like America given $20 billion to Sri Lanka, okay, at this seventh meeting of Quad. So what happened at this situation, that Quad is also providing some kind of help to Sri Lanka. So when new president will become in Sri Lanka, he has to improve the economy of Sri Lanka. First thing is that the thing which they were exporting from their country, anything, whatever they were exporting, these goods must be produced in larger and larger quantity. Must be produced in larger and larger quantity. Second thing, government taxes which were reduced at very low point, it must be raised, because government needs some kind of budget. Okay, if they do not have proper dollars monies in their on account, so how will they run their country? They have to raise taxes. Okay, first thing is to produce more and more goods which they were exporting, from which they will earn. They have to give a pillar, they have to give just a kind of help to tourism industry also. And third and foremost thing is that they have to raise taxes. They have to raise tax to become a strong government, because to run a government they needed some kind of budget, and budget is collected, government revenues collected by the taxes only. So they have to raise tax. First of all, they have, their country have to stand their economy stable. When it will be stable, slowly they have to do repayment of their loans, international loans which they have taken from other countries and other financial institution, especially from International Monetary Fund and from China. To these International Monetary Fund, they have to repayment as soon as possible, when they will get good earning, because they were paying a high interest to IMF. And second thing is China. China is also taking high rate of interest, so they have to do repayment of both of these things. Okay, so this is all we have all talked about Sri Lanka, its crisis, its government collapsation, and Gotabaya Rajapakse, who ran away from Sri Lanka, and all other crises of Sri Lanka. And we are watching on that. If there will be something happen, other things related to economy, we will discuss on this channel. Thanks for watching this.